sense if he goes to the Senior Bowl, and how does it affect his lawsuit? And does the court look at that as, oh, he's already kind of moving on and he expects this, and maybe they're not supposed to look at it that way? I don't know. It's uncharted waters. Can he go to the Senior Bowl and then go back to Ole Miss? Is that a thing? It's complicated. But that being said, I'm with you. This is the kind of prospect that could go to the Senior Bowl and excel and really help himself. And that being said, if he doesn't do that and he comes out, he's really missed an opportunity. So this is tricky. And if he decides,
he could legitimately, and I love Garrett Nussmeier, and I think Garrett Nussmeier is probably going to have the best week of the quarterbacks. We'll see how it plays out. But he could legitimately go down there and be the best quarterback of the 6 quarterback prospects for the NFL.
And win some people over.
Yeah. For the first time, the coaches, quarterback coaches, offensive coordinators, head coaches, first time that they get a real, not just watch on TV, actually get their hands on, get their eyes on, I don't know. It's wild, the timing of it all, and what's at stake, and how many organizations are really keeping a close eye on this thing.
And again, you just go back to the age of these young men and the decisions they have to make and all the directions they're being pulled in. It's great that they've created these opportunities for themselves, and he's created this opportunity for himself. But man, it's freaking brutal. Am I doing the right thing? I mean, he knows what he wants to do. He clearly wants to go back to school, and I think that's the right move in terms of his development. But you also have to deal with reality. And if the reality is that's no longer an option, then it's time to move on and do your thing, kid, because you actually have a chance to move up some boards. It's tough, and I think it's unfair. I don't know what else to say about it. It just seems unfair.
No, I know. I wanted to share that information so that everyone else could be kind of in the know of what's actually going on. Which is, I'm not breaking news there, but there are people who are these aren't just people who are I went to Ole Miss, I'm really hopeful. These are people who actually are perimeter involved and have a lot of information, right. and how different the outcome that they believe is going to happen is from one from another. I was really taken back by that. All right, another thing I want to touch on, because I mentioned that the Senior Bowl was on a social media heater today, announcing name after name from the national championship game. A lot of the Miami guys today, and I suspect I'm very well in the know that we're going to hear a couple more names and maybe Indiana players as well. I'm in love with the fact that Ruben Bain, as I just talked about, is going to play there. I'm in love with the fact that Keontae Scott and everyone else from Miami, but especially Ruben Bain and Akeem Messidor.
Yep.
Not only that they're both projected first rounders, and there are some scouts who have a second on Bain and or a second on Messidor, but I think the league consensus, if you will, or the league, if you were to throw all the grades in, they're both very probable first rounders, and honest to goodness, I think Bain could be a top 10 pick, the way he played down the stretch for Miami. But it's not just where they're projected, it's how many games they've played, and then 16, and then how hard those suckers played. You know what I mean? It's not I don't know, they're two of the hardest playing players I can, if you give me 10 guys you think that played the hardest and the most, snaps, effort, chasing, I would put those two guys on the list. And they're give me my helmet back. Let me go. Give me a clean one so I can put all the other stickers on. But let's go.
Miami's not rotating players like Tennessee was last year along their defense.
No.
That's just not a thing for that Miami team, man. It's the games, and then I don't have the snaps in front of me, but it's got to be a high number. I mean, those guys seem like they're never coming off the field. So it's rare.
It is. But so I'm looking at that, and it's just by saying yes and showing up, I'm more in love with those guys, right? And it brought me to thinking today, and I want to touch on this, and I know you got something you're hot on too after. Last year, we talked about this edge class. And I'm not trying to compare them. We have a whole draft season to do this. But sometimes you wonder, all right, the running back class last year was so outstanding. It wasn't record-setting, but it was pretty damn close. And I think it was 6 guys in the first 3 rounds, and then we saw just an avalanche of running backs, like 19 or 20 guys come off the board at day 3. And a lot of those guys productive as rookies this year. But then this year you see kind of an attrition, like a bunch of guys left early. It's not the same, and a bunch of young backs in college football. Maybe we'll have a great class a year from now in 27. The edge class, which you could argue, a lot of people would argue, outside of quarterback, the highest positional value out there. And to see last year when we had Abdul Carter, Jalen Walker, Michael Williams, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce, all first rounders. Then even early into the second round, we had Ezraku from BC, JTT from Ohio State, Nick Scorton, Oladejo. Now this year I'm looking at this class and be like, all right, maybe there's not like that Myles Garrett or a Bosa brother or one of those guys.
Right.
We're looking at David Bailey from Texas Tech, Reuben Bain, see in Mobile, Keldrick Font from Auburn, Akeem Messidor from Miami, see in Mobile.
Is these your rankings?
Nah, sort of, maybe. They're certainly not official. I just wrote down some notes and put them on paper. Like
that. Those are my rankings so far as you're rattling them off.
But yes, those are my top 4 in that order. After that, it is absolutely not my rankings. I just started jotting down names. But here's some other names, and a lot of them, and this is what I want to transition to, a lot of them are going to be in Mobile, man. And I love this. TJ Parker, Clemson. R. Mason Thomas, Oklahoma. I think he's nicked up, obviously, the injury at the end of the year. I don't know that he's going to play, but he was invited, and at one point I thought he was going to try to play. Zion Young, Missouri, Mobile. Cassius Howell, hand injury, not likely to play, not playing, but wanted to play and was invited and accepted, but just couldn't do it, and then had to kind of, it's just, and by the way, I get on my soapbox about this stuff. If you've got a legitimate injury and you put a bunch of tape out there, you only get one shot at the combine and all that, and it's not worth going out there and risking re-injury, affecting your training, and most importantly for them as an individual, putting tape out there against top competition where you don't feel like you're 100%. If you do it respectfully, call the people as a man, stand up, call the right people. That word gets passed from Drew Fabianich, the new executive director, to every one of the 32 teams, and there's a list. There are 2 lists. There's like a pros and cons list. On one side, you got the guys who handle their business like men. On the other side, you got guys who chose not to, maybe had someone call for them, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe the guys who showed up for a day and then took off, or whatever it is. You find out about the character and the competition level and those sorts of things with all these postseason events. But anyway, Cassius Howell is one of those guys, respectfully, injury, not going to be able to play. Joshua Josephs, Derek Moore, Mobile, coming out of
keep an eye on Derek Moore.
Derek Moore,
he could have a big week.
Right?
He's one of the guys I think might pop down there.
Romello Height, the pass rusher extraordinaire opposite David Bailey. A little undersized, but the guy can flat out rush. So all of those guys, and I'm not saying all of those are going to be first and second, but a lot of them are. This edge class, my point is it's got some substance to it. And I think next week is going to weed out some stuff too.
I would like to know who has a second-round grade on Bain and Messidor. I would like to meet that.
Oh, I have in my head. I would like 3 different names of scouts I talked to this fall.
I'd like to watch tape with them. I want to know what's going on there. Because what am I missing? Messidor especially because it feels like Bain, I think he's going to go early. But with Messidor, it seems like there's some debate about whether he is in the first or second. I've seen that. And then I watch tape and I'm like, this guy? Really? And just go, man. This dude is a Tasmanian devil. I don't understand how you wouldn't take a chance on that in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, there's the age thing, I guess.
He's been banged up at times. But when he's healthy, he's productive and he's violent and he's powerful and he's versatile. Like, I don't know, man. It screams first round pick to me.
But this is an exciting group, you know?
Yeah.
And there's I don't know. I could keep going on. Dan's already yelling at me behind the glass. I give away too much. The McShay report is out. 2-part series we did. 2-part series. Yesterday was part 1. Covered a lot of the buzz that actually wound up coming true today. And part 2 is it just hit. Okay. So it literally just dropped. If you're watching this when this show first came out, it just dropped. So it was Wednesday and Thursday. The McShay report. Google it. Subscribe. It's go time, folks. Okay. We're going to be ahead of a lot of this stuff all season long, and we kind of watch a little tape, and we feel good about what we're going to provide for you for the next few months. If you have any interest from a college standpoint, NFL standpoint, just love the NFL draft. It's here. I promise you. I've worked at some other places a bit. It's like you're going to get the best stuff here, and that newsletter is my baby. You know.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's great.
All right. You told me you're hot on something. I love when you're hot on something. So just go.
I have been on this position group for years now, and really the last 3 or 4. And we are in the golden era of tight ends, man. Let me just read these names to you.
Okay.
Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, Tucker Kraft, Jake Ferguson, Harold Fannin, Brenton Strange, and Aronde Gadsden, all drafted. All of these tight ends drafted in the last 4 draft cycles. There is just a wave of talent at tight end coming into the league. I don't even mention Elijah Arroyo, our guy from Miami, who went to Seattle last year, and Terrence Ferguson from Oregon, who ended up with the Rams, who had kind of quiet rookie years. But go look at Trey McBride's rookie year and look at his second year in the league. These guys are talented. I'm still betting on them to reach their.
Did you mention Gunnar Helm?
Didn't even mention your guy Gunnar Helm. There's other guys in there, Todd. That
He's one of the more productive ones, despite like a lot of problems in that Tennessee offense and team.
He had a nice year. You would not believe like some of these numbers that these guys like.
As a 4th-round pick, he was a.
I know. Aronde Gadsden, man.
120 overall, and was one of the more productive tight ends.
Preach.
Yeah.
Preach. I named like 100 people. But here comes another freaking wave of tight ends. This class.
Tell me about it, Bench.
Obviously, Oregon's Kenyon Sadiq is the name.
Yep.
And he should be at the top of the list. Then you got Max Clare from Ohio State.
Pause. I do, because this is important. I do feel like if you're just now coming into this thing and you're kind of keep an eye on the draft, but really an NFL fan or really a college football fan, I do think the perception out there is it's a 1 tight end draft.
Oh, no.
That. Yeah. There is probably going to be 1 first-rounder unless someone does something massive, Senior Bowl, combine, all that stuff. But a lot of those guys you named are 2nd, 3rd, 4th-round picks, and I think that's where the strength is, right?
Yeah. I mean, you look at, I was going to bring up, I just said Max Clare from Ohio State.
Yep.
Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt is a little undersized, but he is a talented receiver. We're going to see Justin Jolly from North Carolina State. We're going to see Sam Roush from Stanford down at the Senior Bowl. Dallin Bentley, a guy from Utah that I feel like no one's talking about. A big frame, can make plays in the passing game. Another Utah tight end. There are guys up and down this board that can make plays in the league. I am fascinated by all the talent that's coming in at tight end in the last 4 to 5 draft cycles. And what's interesting to me is it kind of matches up, and you don't want to give someone too much credit, but I heard Stanford Steven on his pod the other day talking to Van Pelt about what Travis Kelce has done for the tight end position and how he has made it cool. And I think this is, the tight end, maybe not just Kelce, maybe some of these other guys that have made the tight end position more glamorous, more of a receiving position.
Yeah, chicks dig the deep ball. Chicks dig the deep ball, and big tight end catch the ball.
Tight end you. The tight end position has evolved, man. It has turned into something different than we were watching Mark Bavaro with the Giants decades ago. These guys are playmakers. They are like big, graceful athletes that make plays in the passing game. And I think you're seeing that from kids wanting to play the position, more athletes wanting to play that position. And it's showing up in the depth of these tight end classes that we're seeing the last 4 or 5.
I do think the depth is what's really intriguing, because it used to be there are 3. I can remember like just a few years, like maybe 3 years ago, there would be 2 or 3 guys, and then maybe 1 or 2 that could like, yeah, he's a blocking tight end. We'll take him in the 5th, and he's just an F. We'll take him in the 5th, 6th. Maybe can move him around as like an H. And now, like Kenyon Sadiq, Bentley is, I think, the most. Bentley is. I've started a little bit of tape on him. Bentley might be the guy where everyone's like, "Oh, where'd he come from?"
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Joe Royer, Cincinnati. Max Clare, you talked about. Jack Endries, who I like a lot out of Texas.
I didn't bring up Endries, yeah.
Eli Raridan, Notre Dame. Sam Roush from Stanford, you talked about. Kazmarek from Ohio State. The other, DeAndre Rogers, this Texas Christian kid's pretty good.
Yeah.
Joshua Cuevas, even at Alabama, just like consistent, reliable.
Day 3 guy who we're going to see making plays in the playoffs in a couple of years, where you just be like, they just steady Eddie. There he is, making plays.
Just some guys like
from North Carolina State.
Yeah, Jolly. It's an intriguing class.
I'm telling you, man.
Oh, you know who else I love? You know how I found this guy? Pete Sousa. We went to school with him at University of Richmond. We played, teammate of ours. I was actually roommates with him for a year. Wild. He now does a lot of television, and he does a lot of stuff for ESPN, basketball, football games. But he also does during the season a Big 12 show. He's down in Texas, right? San Antonio. Getting married this year. Congratulations, Pete.
Congrats.
Yeah, he's getting married in Villanova this summer. But Tanner Koziol from Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Big cat. And I remember going on, he wanted to talk about some prospects in the Big 12, like early in the season. And I saw his name on the scouting list, on the national scouting list. And so I'm like, I'm going to plug him in. And so I watched some tape on him. I forget the exact backstory. I'll have it for you later. But whether it was a basketball background, he's just this massive dude. And he's like, and he can actually move. And you can tell he's still kind of working through it. But you talk about a developmental day 3 guy, and he's going to be down in Mobile. I'm excited to see him in this environment.
It is a stacked group, and it's been, I can't remember a run like this on tight ends. I cannot remember. And the year before, I only went back 4 cycles. The cycle before that was Kyle Pitts, who finally started to do some things that we thought he could do coming out. It is the talent at tight end coming into this league, how offense coordinators are going to use that and adjust. I look at the Rams offense you always talk about Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Look at that tight end group that the Rams have. It is loaded. I'm fascinated by how this is developing and what it's going to do for offenses.
Drew Fabianich took over the job of our good friend Jim Nagy. He's got bona fides for days. Cowboys forever, longtime coach.